on to the boys?
Yeah, I was about to say we're going to move on to Catboys now.
Boys.
So were there any other differences y'all wanted to point it out? We did point out the fact that whole girl and heat element isn't in there. To me, what I seem to notice is that when it comes to the Catboys versus Catgirls, was that it's more of focusing on like, look how cute cats are. I love this. I wish boys had that whole cute aspect to it.
They were younger.
That's something I noticed too. Is usually the Catboy is depicted as Catboy as usually like a very juvenile looking person, where Catgirls aren't always necessarily teenage girls or actual cat girls. They go all the way up to cat women.
So do you think the Catboys played up the moe factor even more?
I don't know if it's the moe factor, but I also was wondering.
A lowly factor.
Well, that would be Shota.
Shota is one of the boys.
I'm sorry.
Why do I know that?
So ignorant.
Fuck hanging out with you guys.
You know, I don't even mind being ignorant about this.
Yeah, you're good.
This is your college education right here. That's good. You have 2 teachers right there.
You know what? Ever since you stopped doing those writing lessons, yeah, this is the most high-level educational course I've had.
Oh, maybe we can get back into me giving creative writing workshops for you all.
I would not mind that.
But yeah, it seemed to me that it was like a different appeal. I don't know if it's because cat boy hentai is written specifically for girls. I wasn't sure if they were men who would enjoy the idea of being a small cat boy.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't think there's dudes that have that fetish?
Maybe huge manly men that are like, I just want to be cuddled.
Yep.
And
Like, I definitely think Melinda would like to be a cat girl if she couldn't. Again, lest we kink shame, because it's going to come out eventually. Melinda does own a pair of cat ears. She's never worn them while we've done it, to the best of my knowledge, but she does have them.
You know, it was really dark. The chest.
Maybe once. I kind of, you know, when you're in the moment, you kind of don't care. But
would you prefer the cat ears or the elf ears?
honestly, the cat ears, because
they're
like,
cuter.
well, no, the elf ears are just like a whole other level of nerd. Like, if she fucking came to me in lingerie and elf ears speaking Quenya, I don't know how the fuck to deal with that.
You're anti-Christian again.
That's her true form.
Like, what the fuck do I do? Well, guess tonight I'm a rider of Rohan. What do you do? Like, I know somebody's super into that.
Pull out your robe and wizard hat.
Yeah, of course.
One of the similarities I found was that the cat person was usually in like not the dominant position. What is it? The submissive position.
I thought with the cat girls they had more of a.
They had a little more, but they were still not.
They were usually the aggressors that initiated the sex act. I also thought that might go into the whole men being apprehensive about sex for their first time, and they kind of hope maybe if the woman initiated it, it wouldn't be so scary kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
I think in the One Night Magic one, the cat boy the girl initiates it because she starts touching his penis and whatnot.
But then the boy.
The cat boy comes back and he's like, "Hey, I can cheer you up with sex."
Have you noticed? I guess I'm trying to think. I don't think it was in the first one too much, but the second one and the third one both had the theme of like the characters being drunk. Do you think like maybe they use that as a device to sort of ease the creepy a little bit?
Like, it's okay that I'm doing this because I'm drunk. Well, the thing I pointed out is with the Catboys one, that when she says, I was drunk, so, you know, it only happened because I was drunk. But then like 2 or 3 panels afterwards, she says, well, I guess I rely on you from now on. So no, it's not a thing that happened just because she was drunk.
Yeah, that's true. Although before we get into it, we should probably give the synopsis.
Yes.
All right, I think it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm
What is the synopsis of One Night Magic?
One Night Magic. Okay, so it's a girl, a strong, independent woman that goes to a girls' night, and all of her friends are married and I think have children. Maybe not all of them have children, but they're either married and have children or just married. And she goes home and she's like, you know, our meeting should be more.
Because she's a witch.
Because she's a witch, and she's like, our meeting should be a little more sophisticated than this. Shouldn't just depend on the men and how they treat us. And then she goes, but wouldn't it be great kind of situation? And she turns her cat, who is her familiar, into a little boy, and she kind of starts touching him, and she kind of stops, kind of feels weird about it, goes to sleep, and then the cat comes up. The cat's like, hey, or the little boy comes up, it's like, hey, I can cheer you up. Now that I'm a human, or while I'm a human, I can cheer you up. And then they have sex. And then the cat turns back into a cat. I think that might be it. Yeah?
Yeah. Also, speaking of elf ears,
She's an elf. They're all elves.
I don't know if they're all elves, but
Yeah, look.
they all do have the ears, I guess. But yeah, what about the story stuck out to all of you? For those of you who read it and thought about it?
I'm sorry, but I would like to take this point to concede the point that they probably absolutely do use elf ears to establish a fantasy world. I think Tom brought that up.
No, yeah.
It might have been you. I don't know.
It was Tom that brought that up. So yeah, what about this text stood out to all of you? What did you find different as compared to what we've already been looking at?
They're judging from this angle. The little cat thing behind you. This thing behind you.
I see it.
I'm like, whoa. You transformed, Josh.
Can you meow for us?
Like, yeah.
Oh,
Give us a nya.
Daestra asked for Nyaz when we were live streaming, and then Yusuf specified that he'd unsubscribe if he heard any cat meowing. So it's a win-lose situation, or
Okay.
lose-lose situation.
The thing that stood out the most to me is that she's not only fucking this cat, she's also fucking this child. Like the cat turns, I think that it's a kitten, so
Yeah.
it turns into a child.
They definitely. The way they portray the cat here, I guess, artistically, is way different than the way the actual cat you switchboard was portrayed in the first one.
Yeah. Wait, no, how?
'Cause look at it in the face. It's way cuter.
Oh yeah, that's super cute. That's a super cute. I thought the other cats were cute.
Until people started having sex with them.
Yeah.
And again, super feral features. He's got the booties. He's got the gloves. He's got the fucking scruff shit around his neck.
I thought that was a girl at first for a
Yeah, so
second.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah.
And then I realized Josh said there were 2 cat girls and 2 cat boys, so I was like, oh, I guess that must be a cat boy.
Yeah, it's like what I noticed. It's like when it comes to Catboys,
Is
they're
it-
usually very young looking. They play up the youthful aesthetic of it.
If one of us was a cat boy, we'd be like, what is this? Is this a hairy guy?
I think,
It's not cute. There's no cuteness about it, really. It's more manliness.
I don't know, guys. I think if you all put cat ears, you'd all be so cute. You listeners, if you'd like to see this, just comment down below.
And we'll never post the video.
Like it. They'll put some cat ears on. And
I feel like you were
post
writing checks
pictures.
that we are not about to cash.
You wouldn't do it if enough people asked for it? Just some cat ears.
Like, for every $1 on Patreon, you can see one cat member has seen.
How funny would it be?
I think it'd be
It's
great.
definitely a Patreon exclusive kind of thing, even though we promised we wouldn't do that.
Okay, well.
I mean, there's a part of me that wants to say anything for the lulz, but sometimes the lulz go too far.
I feel like that's the sort of thing that's gonna end up out of context on Reddit or YouTube, where someone's gonna be like, "Look at these stupid fucking trash weebs," even though we were doing it as a joke. And then we will become ridiculed all over the internet for something we did as a joke that people think we did seriously.
You know what? I'll take it.
That's a lot.
Do you know how much free advertisement Darkside Bill has gotten just for being an asshole?
Okay, if anything, Chaz will do it. If there's enough I'm just
Oh no, we
kidding.
usually dump these kind of things on Adam.
I'll do it, but I don't think Melinda. I think Melinda lost a cat ear from one of each of her sets. She has 2 cat ear sets. I'm dating a fucking weeb, you guys. Well, engaged to a weeb. Love you, baby. If you made it this far into the podcast, comment below. So I might have a fucked up one bigger than the other cat ear issue going on.
Do you want me to get back on track?
Yes, please.
I had an
The track is
issue with this one. I had a lot of issues with this one, but right at the beginning, before we got to the weirder part, I was just, this girl, she clearly puts out in the world that she these meetings shouldn't revolve around men and their children and all of that. She's an independent woman, but still, she's portrayed as. But anyway, I still want the kids and the husband and all of that shit.
I don't think she wants the kids and the husband. I think she wants a sexual experience because it's something she hasn't had yet.
I didn't see her too much as an independent woman, honestly. It sounded more like
She was
somebody
whining about
making excuses for not having that.
I just figured, like,
The thing, like when we were at the meeting, like, oh, they're like, oh, how's your husband? Oh, he's doing fine. She just got jealous of like that kind of thing.
like having somebody. I guess
having
it could be that.
having somebody to talk to, like, it's not a cat, I guess. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be that. But also, I find it hard to believe that if she genuinely wants to be sexually active, she can't find somebody to be sexually active with.
Well, this is hentai world. Everybody's high.
So not everybody, not really bastards.
So do you all think this hentai
Different
doujin-
tag, Adam.
Do you all think this hentai doujin appeals more to a male or a female audience?
I think so. When I look at this, I see, like I said, this appeals more to the kinds of women who can't find a guy, come home and they're like, "Oh, switchboard! If only you were a man, I would date the hell out of you." I think that's sort of fantasy fulfillment in that direction.
With a little bit of,
Shotokan,
I was to say pedophilia, but yeah.
Shotokan.
Okay.
It's less weird that way.
What do you think it says about the text on AE when you were getting into the whole idea that she comes off as like, oh, I'm an independent woman and my life is focused around my magic research. I don't need the whole family and kids thing, where she then has a sexual experience and it seems as though that's turned around when she has that sexual experience.
Well, that's just.
As someone who's done like research into text and stuff from a feminist angle and stuff like that,
It's just.
or gender studies.
It's like. It's just like every text, there can't be a lady that just wants to, I don't know, be a lady and do what she wants to do. Because if she does go out and find the men she wants to have sex with, because she does clearly want to have sex, she's going to be slut-shamed like the other girl in the other story was.
I think I remember the one you're talking about. Which one?
The first one. Yeah, the first one we discussed.
Oh, today. I thought you were talking about like previous episodes.
Oh, no, right now.
No, the whole like, oh, my master's totally taken 5 dicks one.
So it's.
Oh, yeah.
The going into heat.
So it's just more, to me, it was more portraying stereotypes and just, I don't know.
Well, then
I don't
if you
like
were to try to change it so that it wasn't so, I guess, not heteronormative, but like sexual normative kind of thing, what would you change about it?
What would I change about it?
Feels like an older cat dude, I guess. Would it work at all? Or like, nah.
I mean, taking the pedophilia away would be great.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, even that would just make it into a little bit of a better story for me. But just to the point that I'm trying to get, I don't know. Because when Chaz pointed out that maybe she just or was it you that said she doesn't just want a family, it's just the sex, or was it?
Yeah.
Well, okay, like look at. I see a lot of. Fitz is trying to escape.
Like, no, Fitz, you're our best.
I see a lot of the same tropes present.
Yeah.
That I see in like romance novels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look at the way she's presented. She's not dressed skimpily like she would for like she would for a hentai that was geared towards dudes. She's wearing a very nice evening dress. Yes, you can see her ass.
Yes, you can see her nipples.
No, this is the main character right
You
here.
can see her nipples.
Wait, is that okay? Is Ponytail Girl up there and Ponytail Girl down there not the same character?
No, these are different characters.
Okay.
You can see her nipples.
You can see that. Yes.
But there's probably no bras in that fantasy.
Look at her
though.
nipples.
There might not be bras in that fantasy.
Yeah,
Well, you don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
but her
When we
boobs
brought
are
this
too
in-
big to not wear a bra.
They might
Magic.
like
Maybe
yeah.
elf tits are different.
Well, they have stronger ligaments, very obviously.
But check it out. If you look at the way she's dressed in this very nice evening gown. Yes, she's eroticized, but she's not And she's not going in with nipple pasties and a thong. She's
Sure.
not. She doesn't look like the other elf from that other one that pissed me off and Fuck Cthulhu.
Yeah.
So this definitely seems to me a woman is supposed to read this and sort of project herself onto the main characters. And I also think that the Shotokan was a quizzical inclusion. But yeah, I definitely see you're a career woman, especially like I guess I don't necessarily know what the difference is gender-wise with the corporate culture in Japan. But you know, there's probably women out there, they're focused on their job. They don't have a lot of time to look for somebody, or maybe, you know, they just got burned by somebody who's a douchebag or a NEET, or I don't know, but you have this career-focused woman.
I guess if you work super long hours a day, you don't really have the chance
That's
to
why
meet.
host clubs are a thing in Japan. That's why a lot of women who are more career-orientated.
Fitz, we won't molest you, we promise.
Yeah, like have
The
you ever
story
seen, like,
is though.
have you ever seen like a video documentary about like host clubs in Japan? Host clubs are geared towards women as compared to a hostess club geared towards men. Or it's like, oh, I don't want all the hang-ups of a relationship. I just want this nice glamorized aspect where I can go to this club, hang out with this handsome man, and get that positive side of the experience I want.
It's
without
also
all
a
the
quick
hang-ups.
fix. Like you don't have to go out looking. It's,
Right.
You just go and it's there.
The cat is basically her vibrator at this point. I know, it's weird. It's weird. Just, you gotta, at a certain point, you just gotta embrace it and just stare into that abyss.
I don't
Ichiya
want to.
damn.
I really don't want to embrace it.
She gives me the one of oscillation, Chaz.
What now?
The one of isolation. Oscillation?
The wand of oscillation?
Yeah.
I guess the scientific term.
Yeah.
If you go to page number 5, look at that fucking penis. That's a child.
I mean, yeah.
Over there. Yeah.
It's a kid. Okay, look at her height. Like, see how she's bent over like that? Look at her height, look at his height, and guess the age. I knew I'd get that reaction from Ahi. We got a live stream that's just for your reaction. It's priceless. I'm going with at most 12.
Well, it's like, yeah,
I think it's left ambiguous on purpose.
Yeah.
It absolutely is, but they're creepy bastards, and we're gonna take them to task on it.
Okay, guys, look at that penis. How old were you when your penis looked like that?
I think that answer.
Oh, the hairy bits.
You mean it's supposed to grow? See, Melinda's not here to defend me. Now everybody just thinks I have a little dick. That backfired, goddammit.
Well, to me, like, I see it as like the whole cuteness factor, right? It's like a cat man probably wouldn't be.
No, I would much
Yeah.
prefer it. And I think a cat man can totally look cute. You can have a fucking beard and look however the way you want and have ears and you'd be cute. Like, you don't have to look like a child to look cute.
The
You know, I think there's a
one,
difference though between like a Western perspective
Yeah, 'cause-
and a Japanese
because
perspective.
I know like a lot of the Japanese they want like clean shaven, they're like hair's like weird for them, I guess. Like
I guess.
Like,
Like genital hair
yeah.
isn't weird, but
Yeah.
like having a beard and stuff like that isn't as common of a thing.
yeah, it's
And it also goes into like you've mentioned it before on this podcast, that whole
they want pretty boys, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that. They want like handsome guys, I
and the
guess.
idolization of like youth culture and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
It's like that whole meme. This is peak male physical performance.
Although there's a question that probably needs to be brought up. Cat years are a thing, right? Like cats age like 6 times faster than humans. So, is that a
12.
physical representation? Like, did they take cat age and turn it like 1 for 1 into a human of that age? Like maybe he's really
Yeah,
Oh, he's a
fucking
familiar.
40 or
I don't
something.
think he's a real cat. She points out he's a familiar.
Well, yeah, but then we have to get into folklore about whether or not a familiar is an actual animal or conjured or a spirit or something.
I don't think that really pertains to
Nice.
this text though, because it's not something they're going to bother explaining.
Well, yeah, but what I'm asking is maybe he's not actually a kid. Maybe they pulled that lowly vampire trope where she's actually 800 years old. But I'm just saying, like, cat years can explain it away. He could easily be a 40-year-old cat, but because his body is only, don't make me do math, 8 years old, he is physically 8 years old when she just turns him one for one from a cat to a human. You know what I'm saying?
Even when you see the cat, though, the cat's pretty small. The cat looks like a kitten to me.
That is true, and that absolutely dismantles my argument. This person's a fucking pedophile.
Yep.
I think we're also kind of digging more into the Shotokan aspect of it rather than like the Catboy aspect of it.
You're right.
I just can't really get past it. It's too weird. For me, you know what? I'm not even gonna stop kink shaming that. You shouldn't be fucking jerking off to children.
You know, I think Xavier has brought it up once before. I would rather have these people doing it to.
That was my argument.
Oh yeah,
Xavier
I'm sorry. I'd rather have these people doing it to like people that aren't real than finding a real person to do this or supporting fucking deep web pornographers that would do this shit.
I guess.
This is by far the lesser of several evils.
It just doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah, it's super fucking creepy because it's not our thing.
Yeah.
Thank fucking Bast. But
this just makes me think about when we're gonna do the really weird ones, the really bad tags. I'm gonna be sick that day.
That reminds me. Does the next one count as NTR? Did you slip us a Mickey, Josh? Did you secretly NTR us?
I did not secretly attempt to NTR you. Although I don't think NTR is the main aspect of that other one, though.
It's not. That's why I say it doesn't count.
Yeah. It's an auxiliary tag.
Tertiary. Adam, what is your critical analysis of this lady that likes to bone little kids?
It's not a kid though, it's a cat boy, but yeah, it's still weird. I'm not gonna go with it. I'm like, that's still too young. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, you argued that this is more for women. However, I do think there's like a sect of men.
Yeah, there's still like there's still people that like
There are men who like Shotokan because they like the idea of
being a kid.
and being with an older woman kind of thing.
Fair point.
To be like inexperienced again, and then just having the women show them how to do things. That's what I think they do.
That'd be my argument for that. Like, maybe the aspect isn't necessarily the boy itself, but if you were to say this is a hentai geared towards men, it's a man liking the idea of being the one being taken care of and stuff like that. But once again, this isn't necessarily focusing on the cat aspect of it.
Right.
That's something we can get into for a different episode.
I don't know. If you felt like she was being like hardcore stereotyped, then you have an education to back up what you're saying.
I think part of the reason why I thought I connected her to being like an independent woman is because she's a witch, right? And just the aspect of being a witch is kind of like being not part of it. It's not being part of mainstream society, and part of the appeal of being a witch is being kind of like free from those societal norms, which is why I assumed.
I get it. Although I would have to ask, like, do you think like maybe you're projecting your own assumptions on it?
Definitely.
Which I guess you have to in literary criticism. But
yeah.
I mean, if you look, first page, they're at a nightclub. Or I guess a bar. They've got kids. They've got boyfriends. They're a part of mainstream society.
Yeah.
She just happens to be at a bar in Diagon Alley, I guess.
I think you're upset with how this hentai dojin's using the idea of a witch.
I guess so, yeah.
I get you. I nerd raged about elves a couple weeks ago.
You did.
We all have our pet peeves. Alright, we've been focused on this one for long enough. We'll move on to the next one. So for the last text, I guess it is my turn to do the summary. This one is I Love the Cat Next Door by Shiomaneki. So the synopsis for this one is that there is this young man, his age is never specified, but he's definitely drawn to look younger. And he has a cat, and his cat likes to run outdoors. And one day his cat happens to run over to his hot older neighbor's house. And then he's like, oh, thanks for my cat. Can you hand him over? And the cat ends up jumping out of the woman's arms and running into her house. And she's like, oh, your cat went inside my house. Why don't you come inside and help me find it? And then while he's looking for his cat, he finds this woman's cat-related sex toys and fetish items. And she's like, I've been fantasizing about you, young man, since the moment I moved here. I love how cute you are, and I'd love for you to be my little kitten. And then he's like, I'm not comfortable with this, but then he's like, but sex is sex. I guess I'll put on cat ears and meow for you.
Can't stop, won't stop. Made it this far.
And then that evolves into him having a relationship with this woman by the end of the last page. It's implied.
And she is married, so that's why I asked, like, does it count?
I mean, I guess it's not necessary. I would say it's probably a tag if you look up the text. However, I wouldn't say it's the focal point of the story.
Nah.
This is definitely something that comes up in hentai a lot, not just NTR, where it's like, oh, your salaryman husband is no good. He's off working and he doesn't pay attention to you, or maybe he's cheating on you. Here I am, the protagonist, come to save you from your sexless life.
I am the protagonist.
I am a young
Protagonist Chan.
I am a young virile man without eyes and a shaggy dark haircut. So, what about this tag? I mean, not this tag. What about this text stood out to you all that you kind of noticed? Because this is the one where the cat boy or the cat person isn't actually a cat. They just dress up like one for sexual satisfaction in the story.
And this one, this is the other track where this is not a woman or somebody fantasizing about their animal being a partner for them. She just into doing cat dudes. She just likes the ears. By the way, anybody else notice that dildo he picked up had ears?
Yes.
That's gotta feel really awful going in.
It looks like a little cat. There we go. There's the picture page.
And then you
4.
look at-
Okay.
Face.
Okay, you know what? That would probably actually stimulate. But there was one where it just looked like it was fucking
The
sharp or something.
double-ended one, or not the double, like the two.
Well, these are the only time they come out is right here.
The one before, no, the one after maybe, or one before. Okay. One
Yeah, I know that's the one she's talking about.
See that page 3, that bottom panel. What do you use that for?
Which one?
Oh, is it just moving?
Yeah.
I think it's just wiggling back
Oh,
and
okay. Never mind.
It's just,
forth. I thought of that too. I was
Okay.
like,
But look, the little anal stimulator on the vibrator is a little mouse.
that's actually somewhat common.
well, if that was actually a thing, but
Isn't that a clit stimulator? I guess it depends on which way you turn it.
It's too short for your. Wouldn't it be too short to reach your butt?
Yeah.
I think you're right. That's the clit stimulator.
Woohoo! 2 for 2.
The official terminology.
On the very first page, when they show the cat, I thought, and huge disappointment to me, I thought that was gonna be a cat that turned into a human, and that at least we'll get like an older
Older cat.
cat boy.
yeah.
Nope.
You know what? I was kind of going that way too. Although
Creepy little cat.
looking at that cat, that would definitely be the fat ugly bastard.
That fucking cat's gonna turn into Danny DeVito.
Oh my god! I'm picturing Danny DeVito with cat ears. I both want to scourge my brain with bleach, and it is glorious at the same time.
Okay, look at that boy. That's a boy. That's not. He doesn't live alone.
Well, sometimes the parents are just always out of the house, always working for the.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
sure, but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's a boy. Like I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's not somebody that can own their own apartment.
Well, I know that some people sometimes the parents just pay for their stuff and they just have to go work somewhere else.
They
so.
leave the child
Yeah,
there.
they do that. I know that. At least in anime they do that. I don't know if it's.
And
I
actually,
don't know. I don't know
it
any.
happens in anime.
I don't know if it happens. I don't know any Japanese boys, so I don't know. Yeah.
Adam's looking for a Japanese pen pal with spelling and applying. But yeah, this is why I was saying sometimes with the younger looking characters, it's the reader that's meant to identify with that younger looking person, because to me, this definitely seems like it's focused on the male audience, because you have this attractive older woman, you have this young guy, and then he ends up kind of being taken care of and then receives a sexual experience from an older woman.
Huh? That's
But
interesting.
and then he plays a submissive role through the whole.
Okay, right there, page 3. Does she tell him you look on that side or something like that? Like you went under there. Can you check from your side? Oh, nobody forgets where they put
The dildo
the
box.
dildo box. Yeah.
If you want to see him,
Well, she does say that she's fantasized about it.
It's just so weird.
Oh yeah, look, she's doing the whole little squeeing motion. So yeah, so how does this differ from what you guys have seen before so far with like cat-related pornography, cat girl, cat boy stuff?
You know, honestly, until you guys mentioned it, I never actually thought about it as a guy wanting to be the object of the fetish. Which seems super short-sighted of me, but I just never put that together. Although,
Yeah, to me, it definitely seems like he's like willing to take the submissive role in being the one sort of being taken care of. But at some point, he does kind of take control when he's kind of like
Trying to go
doing
for
her
the
from. Yeah, he's doing her from. They're doing it doggy style quotations.
cat style.
Yeah,
kitty
and,
style.
and then he's on top of her, and he happens to be stimulating her at the right spot, and then he's kind of in control at that point.
It's just a lot of manipulation of a child that doesn't really know what's happening and how he could stop it. And
I think he had a little bit of experience, or at least preconceived notions.
That's a child. When an older woman comes in, or an older anything comes in, and goes, "Hey, look, like we can play," that it's a short-sighted. It's not consent when they're like, "Oh, it's how exciting." Sure, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
he can.
No, go ahead. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm just
No,
trying to-
it's just kind of like in my brain, a child can't give consent, and it's all manipulation of an older person.
Well, I also think it's kind of, we're not talking about the real thing. We're talking about we're probably talking about people our age fantasizing.
You're getting
about,
off of track. We're not analyzing the cat tag where this somehow became
It
the
just
show
keeps
episode.
going the show. Yeah, Josh. I'm
well,
sorry.
you guys are focusing on the wrong aspect.
I will point out two things. Number one, he technically did give consent when he leapt into that puss there.
You
And
can't give consent if you're underage, and he is clearly underage.
That's okay. I'm going to argue this on behalf of Xavier. That is, first of all, the what do they call it? Constitutional age of consent in Japan is 14.
Oh my.
Now each prefecture changes that, and I guess on the federal level, it can go up. I don't know if it goes down anywhere. Jesus Christ! But age of consent in Japan is 14, technically. Second of all, where the fuck was I going with this? Legally, someone underage cannot give consent, but there's 15, 16s. I've even heard of like 12, 14-year-olds bumping uglies. They can give consent. Plus, the reason I don't think that this is a child is because he did show some amount of understanding. It's like, well, I may be a cat, but I'm still a man, which is when he was taking charge and reaching forward, grabbing her tits. Now, maybe that was a preconceived notion. Maybe that's how he thought men should act.
You can't even reach her boobs.
See, you're right, but after the other one where there's just a giant girl tag, I don't know anything anymore. I can't judge shit.
I think you're thinking of it too much realistically rather than perhaps how it's. To me, it seems like this is meant for a guy who wants to be in that pet position, and he fantasizes about. Plenty of young guys have that fantasy where it's like, oh, the older teacher or my friend's mom or the hot neighbor next door.
That's a good
If
point.
only I could have had the opportunity to take advantage when I was at that age to have that sexual experience. Obviously, if you actually took advantage quotations when you were 12 or 13 with an older woman, you probably might not have liked it as much as you thought you would have. However, I think we're looking at hentai, which is meant to be sexually stimulating. I think it's meant to kind of play up that kind of fantasy and wish fulfillment.
It's just really hard for me to get it because I never in my life had any thought of, oh, I really wish that older man would fuck me, or any variation of that.
But you can also kind of see how some girls would do that, because I remember being like in 6th grade and having some of my female classmates talk about how hot some of the guy teachers were and wanted to jump their bones, in the same way that I would have classmates, still 6th, 7th grade, talk about female teachers in the same way. That's why to me it's not that odd that people can look back at that and fantasize about that. Obviously, if this scenario kind of happens in real life, it might be statutory rape. And I think it's fine that we acknowledge that, because we're kind of bringing our real world sensibilities to this. But I wonder how much does that play into like a literary critique of what this work is kind of meant to do. But then again, we're also kind of having to put ourselves in the position of who do we think the reader is. And we don't have to put ourselves in that position if we don't want to. You can look at it from the way you see it, which obviously you kind of do when you're doing like a fundamental critique of it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm just trying to get into the mind of somebody who enjoys this and reads this for sexual stimulation.
I get it though. I get it because, I mean, I know Melinda is into older dudes. You know, thankfully for me. Also, yeah, I definitely remember when I was younger finding older women attractive. I mean, there's a certain age where you're only looking at older women because.
Yeah.
Because you kind of see kids around your own age as gross.
Yeah, exactly. I get it. I absolutely get it.
Going off of what I said, how do you think that plays into the whole cat boy fetishist thing going on here?
Some dudes just want to be cats, I guess. Adam, analyze.
I don't know.
Begin.
I'm not a cat boy. I don't know, man. But, like, I guess like some people just want to just be like the pet. I don't know. They want to be the submissive like the.
Do you think this plays more into that whole pet thing more than actual scenarios where the cat was a pet?
Like, I think it's like.
I think she's going more for the cuteness, no?
Yeah, she's more for the moe part of the aspect. Yeah.
So do you think the whole moe kawaii aspect gets played up more with cat boys and with cat girls? Because those cat women are very sexualized. Like,
I think
their
it's
heat, they're wet, their breasts and hips are largely developed.
But see, here's the thing. I think guys, like, a lot of guys will find cuteness in a girl sexy by default, so I don't think it needs to be spelled out as much as it might have to with the cat boy.
What do the rest of you think about that?
I think I should just put some cat ears on you and see what happens.
Do you want us to get out of here? should we leave Fitz?
It's
So I guess we can kind of move on past looking at the text and kind of move more towards a synthesis of what we've been looking at. So were there any aspects of any of these stories that you all obviously we had some complaints about aspects we didn't like about this?
There was a lot of I don't know, maybe that's part of the excitement of it, but I think there was a lot of like ownership that came across in different shades and different forms. Like, would be it the pet or the sex trafficking or just the submissive role. I think that was a large tag or a large aspect of the tag, and I gotta admit, not really something I expected. I was kind of expecting again that first category of cat, the type 1 cat girl, where they are just sentient people that happen to have cat features, and they're like, yeah, let's totally consensually bang because.
Do any of you have like things you would modify to make it more palatable to yourselves, or perhaps change problematic aspects that you saw with any of these stories? Were there any aspects of these stories you would modify?
That pregnancy clause in the second one was just awful. But
Yeah. I think if I started counting all of the modifiers for me, it'd just be very vanilla.
Yeah, it'd just be a whole different.
Some cat ears.
I kind of, and again, this is. I feel like I mention this every fucking episode, but again, this is coming from somebody who is a dom and is into domination. If the sex trafficking cat girl chick was just like into it or wanted to be there, or it didn't seem like she got snatched.
She signed up for this.
Well, even signing up for it is a little, because those tend to be like morally gray.
Mm-hmm.
But like, again, you were talking about how things just work that way because it's a hentai. If she popped out of the summoning circle and was just A-okay with what was going on, like if she went the Neko Para route and was like, yeah, I'm totally a cat maid that's here to bone you, I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, or I guess the lack of consent was just weirdly played up in the tag as a whole.
I wasn't expecting that so much.
So what would you look for then in your ideal cat story then?
Me or
anybody.
Yeah.
Well, no. Adam didn't give a chance to give his overview of the tag.
like real, like they're just stories to me. So like they're just like I don't mind the crazy, like the weirdness of it, like but it's just like a little weird of like the younger boys and
I think for like you, Melinda, Xavier, and I, we're used to these anime tropes because we digest the media pretty often.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of recognize that there's problematic aspects of it.
Yeah, there's always
But to us, it's like, oh, that's always there. We just we've learned to live with it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like,
There's nothing wrong with bringing up with what we don't like about that, because I do think in Japanese media in general, there's like a lot of things I wish they would move past. Obviously, me personally, I'm sick and tired of high school stories. I was done with isekai after the second series I saw. And there's like a lot of things I wish they would mature and advance in with the medium as a whole. But like I said, you and I, we kind of see a lot of these problematic tropes. And I think we kind of gloss over them simply because we're used to seeing them so often.
Yes.
Which is why it's interesting to look at it with people who don't have that same view as us, right?
Yeah,
Because then we get the different perspectives of things that we tend to overlook
just
because we're used to seeing them.
There's like the costume, or the she'll just be pregnant, but then she'll be raise her family with like other cat girls or whatever. But then
because at the end she like.
I guess like the whole aspect of like the whole aspect of like she could be just set off to like to send the kid off as another experiment or another.
Cat person.
Yeah, cat person to transport. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys right here have like any questions you would want to ask the authors of any of these texts, or like things you wish you could have clarified if they were here?
Are those cat socks or their cat feet?
Yeah, that's an important question. It's one's less weird than the other.
I think I would ask what happens with the pregnant cat people that go back. Just what happens? What do you do with the children?
Rather than plot wise, like what about like the critique of the text would you want to ask the authors?
Why do you want to fuck cats? Like, okay, here, for real. What was in the first one? What was the fucking deal with that cat? Like, how did that process in your brain when you were like, oh yeah, this is a cat, but this dude sees them as women? And again, even if that is that chick's true form, everybody else sees that guy
just rubbing his penis on the cat's belly.
Yeah. Getting the fur balls. That's
What would you guys do if you saw somebody rubbing their penis on a cat's belly?
I'd probably push them off the cat.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, you can't do that to the thing. Come
I
on.
have never actually punched anybody, but I think I would definitely punch somebody if I saw that.
I am fairly secure in the idea that I don't hang out with anybody that would hump a cat in my presence. But God forbid if I am wrong. That's...
What if you're just like at a park and you make a turn or something? Somebody's rubbing up on a cat. God, I don't like to call it cops.
That's what you do at the parks.
And that's why you avoid people. Do you think there's anything in these texts that people could apply in their own sex life?
Yeah, get some cat ears. Try something new. Don't try being a pedophile.
Anything in the text that they could apply in their own sex life.
What do you think about the whole pet play kind of thing, though, when it comes to like domination and BDSM relationships?
I mean, well, like I said, Melinda does it. So, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's different.
Because some people have their partners play pets all the time, kind of thing.
That's a little too far for me. You know, when she puts on the cat ears, it's cute. You know, because I am one of the people that finds cuteness sexy. So yeah, it's cute. She's not walking around the bedroom in a latex fucking cat suit, man.
She's not going outside where your family can see you, your friends can see her.
You know, again, I don't want to kink shame, but you see those people on My Strange Addiction that have like the fucking horse bridle on and shit, and it's like, my God, I am so in the shallow end of whatever the fuck that is.
What were you about to say, Adam?
Like I know, like in like some people use it like the tail as a butt plug and stuff like that. So like that's like
Is that your advice? Get a butt plug?
Alex, is that what you're asking for Christmas?
No selling on Simon, don't do that.
Do they sell official Neko Para cat ears and butt plug tails? Because if they don't, that is a missed fucking opportunity.
Yeah.
Another merch idea.
Official Hentai Literature Club. But like, no, we don't stop at cats, right? Because like Josh said, if it's only cats, it's weird. So we have like the foxtail butt plug. We have like the curly dogtail butt plug.
Somebody's little pig. I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like every day goes by, we more and more appeal to weirdos.
I really hope the mic is getting Fitz meowing. He's giving his opinion. He thinks it's weird. Please don't fuck him.
So what do you all think the role of this tag and the sex acts performed in it say about like the psychological motivation of like somebody who sincerely enjoys what we just looked at?
Well, again, I think I keep coming back to this, but there's the two schools of thought. There's people that are just cat fetishes, and they're fetishists, and there are people that are like, you know, I wish my cat was, you know, a partner for me.
Maybe somebody's just so sexually frustrated that they. Oh, never mind. Never mind.
No, go ahead. Like,
It's just like you're so sexually frustrated that you'll deal with having an animal like your
partner being a part
genitals.
animal.
So
Because to me,
I've heard there are people that like just take peanut butter and like let Fido go to town.
To me,
We're already in Sodom. A side trip to Gomorrah is not going to do any worse.
Well, there's the episode's title. But to me, it also kind of gets into people who are like people who aren't just bronies, but like the sort of bronies who also sexually fetishize the characters of My Little Pony.
That is an aspect of the fandom. Now, I have known in my time a couple, I don't want to say a lot, but like one or two people that have unironically enjoyed that show. And to the best of my knowledge, they were never sexualized, but I don't know what the fuck they look up in their porn directory.
No, I'm not saying like all bronies want to have sex with the characters, but to me, I can see the correlation of...
I think a lot of people in that fandom like legitimately enjoy it for the characters, and I've heard some people like really get behind the themes of My Little Pony, which is weird as fuck to hear if you're not a brony, but like we're literally analyzing porn right now. I think you can kind of follow that train of thought. So I don't know. I think it's a very tangential branch of the fandom that does that.
Yeah, I wasn't even specifically relating to the fandom, but the idea that some people can sexualize those ponies, to me, it doesn't seem as much of a stretch that you could sexualize
Cats.
a cat girl or something like that in that same manner.
And you really don't think that like that's some kind of offshoot of furry?
I don't know if it is. Like, there's probably like some sort of relationship there that we could delve into if we had the time and the research. And I kind of wish there was somebody here that could answer in like a positive to like, oh yeah, I like that kind of stuff. Let me get into what it appeals to me.
We have somebody that can do that, and I don't want to out him.
If you as a listener like it,
Kick
tell
ass
us.
point. Yes, absolutely. I know we've got a couple people with furry avatars.
Yeah. And I'm not, because I probably sounded like I was king shaming a lot, but like I'm not against the cat ears and all of that stuff. It's just
Actual cats.
yeah, just don't fuck an actual cat, please.
An actual human, an actual animal, yeah.
Yeah. Like if you or your partner wants to dress up as a cat, totally down. Just kidding. I think I'm all for exploring and having fun, because otherwise you don't know what you like. How do you know you like it? You haven't tried it.
Yeah, I do try to present as sex positive as I can, and I feel like that didn't come across well in
No.
this. But I think that's more just because we had like actual real world problems with some of the things in the text more so than anything.
I think so. Yeah.
Do you think these texts had anything to say about like gender relationships or like the way gender acts in society, especially with the differences you saw between like cat girls and cat boys?
I honestly don't know if I did. I think the differences present were largely due to the text just trying to appeal to different readers, and different fetishes.
What were you about to say, Adam?
I can't think of like anything that like they both. I don't know. Like they both. I don't know. I guess like they're. Like they're both like not. They're both not. I guess not team, but like not. I don't know how to, like, I can't think of the words. So does somebody else.
To me, kind of what I saw was very much that desire to want to not necessarily reduce your partner to like a very base sort of relationship, but some people have like that desire, it seems, to want to have like this sort of easy relationship with the person that they might have with the pet. Do you agree with me?
Yeah. You right, man?
I think he's just calling us all perverts.
I think he just wants food.
I know, but I don't know why he's being so vocal right now.
Did you all see any sort of unifying ideas or images throughout all the text outside of the tag?
Outside of the tag, I mean, there's that heat thing.
Well,
There's the Shoda thing.
the rape thing. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the heat thing is as in like the desire for a partner who is sexually desirous, as well as wanting that sort of diminutive partner. I think it's something that you could say definitely appeared in both not both in Catgirls and Catboys, but something that seemed to occur within that tag specifically. So who here has a D4 on them?
A D4?
I'll go get him.
Okay. Oh, we're about to get to the fun part of the episode, remember?
Ah, yes, where we create our own.
Yeah, well, this is sort of a chance to kind of get over the grievances you had with the tag, in the fact that we now have the chance, because we're going to create our own hentai plot involving catgirls or catboys. So now, if there's anything you didn't like about what you saw in the previous text, now's your chance to sort of use your power of creativity to kind of now create your own catgirl, catboy story.
Or just use all of them and go home feeling shitty.
So, Chaz will be 1, Adam is 2, Ane is 3, I am 4. So, let's see. Number 1, who is going to decide whether we are going to focus on catgirls or catboys? I'll re-roll that, it fell off the table. Number 1, Chaz, are we doing catgirls or catboys?
Or a mix. Or like cat trans.
You know what? I think that's the more interesting idea. Gender fluid cats. Because otherwise I just have a bias towards cat chicks.
Well, what
Specifically.
how do you want to employ the idea of a gender fluid cat person? Is it somebody who physically shifts between being a boy or a girl? Or how are you intending this to work?
Or a futa.
Who's gonna be responsible for actually providing the setting?
Next person?
Okay, then I don't know if I can stamp on their toes. These cat people are the spiritual descendants of Bast that the ancient Egyptians used to worship, and therefore only conform to gender when interacting with the human race.
Okay. Who's gonna
Hold
give
on, I
us...
have a question on that. Is the gender they present themselves as,
The opposite?
or the sex they present themselves as, just dependent on who they're speaking with?
That is not up to me.
Okay.
I've already punched way more than my card.
Okay.
So, now we have re-rolls on a 1. 4, I guess it's my idea to come up with the setting. So, I now have to work with Chaz's gender fluid cat people, who are now the spiritual descendants of Bast. So where do I want to take the setting? Part of me just wants to say ancient Egypt, just because that seems like it'd be the easiest setting. But no, let's go with the
Hard mode. Play it on hard mode.
Well, I'm gonna go with Victorian era England.
What?
So now
Can you?
He actually served you a softball if you can work it properly.
Well, because they had the whole Egyptophile movement was kind of happening in Victoria era England.
When did they bring back King Tut?
I think that was either Victorian era or like right after it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, that was where I was going with that. So now I guess Adam is odds, Ani is evens. For who is our actual protagonist, you're evens. Who is our gender fluid cat
well,
protagonist?
thank God, because if Adam had to make a character right now,
Be here for the rest of the day.
Does that mean Adam's gonna make up the whole plot?
Well, he's gonna have to make up at least part of it.
Can I start it?
Well, yeah, you kind of have to initiate the.
Okay.
I thought about like a second of baby. I don't know if that'll work for that one.
Okay.
Is this the one option that
You have to actually come up with characters at this point.
I have to come up with a character. Okay. We're gonna say. Oh my god. This cat person was accidentally mummified, taken to a museum, and somehow got brought back to life. It's probably something that can take it like 2 panels where it doesn't matter. It's not the point.
Well, who opens it? Because now you have to come up with the other character.
Okay.
So this is basically the 2 people that are going to have a sexual interaction
Okay,
at this point.
the person that opens it is gonna be.
an actual cat.
That would be a fucking twist if the cat person bones a straight up cat. Is that
Is
BCO?
that a thing?
I don't know.
Did you see
You have
it?
to work it into it.
Okay.
You're the
That's what-
pervert
that's what
here.
you
You're
actually wanna
responsible for
do.
this.
No. We'll say it's a. Since we didn't see any grown men, we'll say it's a man that works at the museum, opens it, accidentally brings back the cat girl to life.
Well, what's
Yeah,
what?
we can play with the gender fluid aspect with this. So is the
Yeah.
man bisexual or is he heterosexual?
Or
He's
is it a
gay
team
man.
of archaeologists?
He's a gay man, so it's going to
He's
be
a
a
gay
cat
man.
man on cat boy.
Wait, isn't it?
Uh,
Isn't it like gender fluid? Cats?
Well, yeah,
Well,
well,
it-
the cat. If the cat's gender fluid, they can be whatever gender they want.
Yeah.
yeah.
However,
guess-
you'd have to take into account the fact that ancient societies had very different ideas of gender than what we did.
Yes,
If we're-
strong word building for this
Okay,
porno.
never mind. Let's just say it's a lady that also has a penis. We're gonna include the futa a little bit. Do you need any more?
No, that's the 2 characters.
Okay.
Adam, give us the plot.
Did it say like?
I can roll a die for you to see if it's your turn, but you are now 1 through 4.
But if I just stand up on the stop chat, maybe you stand on one of the
If you
ends.
stand it on one of the point, then you are the other 3 numbers.
What, the
Alright,
real
Adam.
question is, what number is Fitz?
I don't think you can actually contribute to the story right now.
Fitz, contribute to the story.
Yeah.
We got one person
The mouth.
meowing.
That's it.
Adam, you just did it.
Oh.
Adam.
Yeah.
I did one or two.
Oh,
Sorry,
did you?
Yusuf.
Okay.
Don't let them
Give us the
scream.
plot.
Okay, Adam.
Um,
So she
yeah.
opens it, brings back the cat person back to life. You decide what happens.
yeah. Well, from like what I hear, I think like it'd be cool, like better, like if the coffin's still closed and then she hears meowing from inside. You think that something got inside, like a cat got inside the thing. So that's why she opened it up. Is my reasoning for that. But then she finds it's an actual cat person, and she tries talking to it, and then it's like trying to speak it to her in I guess Egyptian, but then it just starts reading like the letters and it's like I guess magic or whatever. Things English or whatever, the British English.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's up, mate? So
Full Cockney accent.
yeah, what year is it?
And then they bone.
And then they have the.
I was about to say sex is the universal language.
They can't understand each other, so they start having sex.
As you do.
No, keep going, Adam.
I guess from the top of my head, the cat person, like just is naked walking around, but they don't know society. I'm guessing,
So you're that trope.
that trope, yeah. So yes. And then the Futa lady or Futa lady, it just shows her the way of like how to put on a dress and then all like how to I guess, and then it goes on to like wearing a condom, I guess, so that they how to put on a condom and stuff like that.
I don't think condoms existed in Victorian England, though.
I don't know.
Would it have been like sheepskin?
Yeah, they did have that. That's
Yeah,
the
see,
thing.
yeah. I know history too. Yeah. So they use it.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, oh yeah. They use sheepskin as a condom for the first thing to see what.
The rubber vulcanization process was invented by Charles Goodyear in 1839 and patented in 1844. The first rubber condom was produced in 1855, and by the late 1850s, several major rubber companies were mass producing, among other items, rubber condoms.
Okay. That's rubber though. That's weird. I couldn't have felt that nice. Because nowadays we use latex and silicone, don't we?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that odd because even they're still colloquially known as rubbers, so it's probably been that way for a while. Didn't seem to stop anybody. Continue, Adam. Tell us about putting on the condom with the futon.
Like because she like I'm also like strange like you that she just chose to, or I guess that's strange for some people, but
Not part of the norm.
yeah, not part of the norm, yeah. And then that's really
Get intimate.
Get intimate, yeah.
As the proper British term for that. All right, I guess that is.
With the buttons.
We gotta name it. We gotta
Oh,
name
that's
it.
true. Once again, I almost forgot the name.
The legacy resort.
Love from the crypt. No.
Yeah, from the crypt. Yeah.
Bast from the past.
Just always have the names.
I was gonna go with Cat Pharaoh Cuties.
Yeah.
I think I like that one. You're really good at this. I don't know. Does anyone have anything else?
You guys want to add to my story or?
No, it's gonna last about 20 pages, so we got plenty. So what title are we voting on?
I think the Josh's one.
Cuties.
Okay. All right, so there it is. That is the CAFCON. Cat person hentai dojin is Cat Pharaoh Cuties. We thank you for tuning in to another
If you want to
episode.
draw it, just send it to Chaz's Twitter. It's
It's true. I'll fucking accept it. Send it to my business email. I don't give a fuck. We'll find a way to put it out there.
Yeah, so thank you all for tuning in to another episode. I hope we got a little bit off topic about the topic of cat people with some of the hentai dojins we looked at, but that's okay.
I apologize.
No, it's
I don't.
alright.
Some of that shit was creepy. To a certain extent, I think it is still related to the tag because it is from the tag which this other thing springs.
No, that's why I said I didn't mind. So yeah, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Hentai Literature Club, where we look at hentai through the lens of literary criticism. If you have suggestions for tags you want us to look at or specific hentai works, so the plan is not to just look at tags specifically. We're also planning on doing artists, and at some point we'll do like actual hentai episodes.
Can I submit Shadman?
I don't know if he has actual hentai dojins. However, at some point we will cover Shindo L or Shindal, and what we're probably going to get to John K. Pita, much to Xavier's chagrin.
Hey, Shadman does have a narrative structure on some of his works.
I mean, we can if you all want. We
I don't want to, but it'll be funny.
Also, if you know anybody who works in the hentai industry, you can send them to us because it would like be really cool if we could actually get somebody who makes hentai to come on this podcast.
Like professional though. Don't send us your weird high school friend from art class.
But yeah, if you like us, you can, wherever you're listening to this, like it, love it, subscribe, share it with people. That's probably the coolest thing you can do for us is if you share this with people you know, or you post it on Facebook or Reddit or wherever else you want to share this with people.
Add it to your grandma.
It would be greatly appreciated.
You know what? Actually, that's a good point. We're trying to find a way to get the HLC in front of people that would like to listen or would like to hear it. And really, we don't know how to get it in front of its community. So if you guys know a place where we can, post this and show it to people and get the word out, by all means, let us know.
Yeah, if you really like us, we also have a Patreon where you can throw money at us. We'll someday buy a Faku subscription with that money if we get enough. And other than that, stay caffeinated.